Hey everybody, welcome again to Tribal Trade. So great to have you with us here today from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to the channel. If you haven't smashed the like, please do so already. Leave the comments and questions. I love reading them and I look to respond to every single one of those as soon as possible. And if you'd like to join our ever-growing community, you can click the subscribe button. It's been so exciting hanging out with so many of you in the Stocks with Josh Discord. So if you haven't got involved in there, the link is below in the description. All right, so today we're going to talk about whether the Bitcoin bottom is in, okay? And certainly if we look at the Bitcoin charts here, I did update this. This was kind of funny because I did the video on Sunday after the close, and then kind of exactly what I was kind of talking about actually played out and happened. We talked about it losing this wedge here. I've got a new support here where we can see there is some support. This had previously been resistance. We broke through, and then we've come back to it as support here, this trend line. So I put a new trend line in here, and certainly it was supported by these wicks when we came out of this channel here briefly. I do expect us to at some point come up. This will be resistance, and then to push through, more resistance, and then push through. So we got a ways to go yet, but certainly I did talk about us coming down and hitting this order block here, which is around 60 to 62, and that we had the Fibonacci there at 59,000. We certainly hit that Fibonacci. We saw that the 200 EMA on the daily has certainly also provided some support. Just coincidentally, the 20 EMA on the weekly is also there. I haven't got it up on the chart at the moment, but you can certainly put that on your chart there. We've certainly seen also the hash ribbons indicator. Remember here that we have seen a minor capitulation signal, and whenever we've seen that, that generally historically has been a good time to buy Bitcoin. And certainly we usually see a buy signal around 45 days after that on average, which would take us through to around the end of July, early August here, okay? So we've also seen Bitcoin dominance take a little bit of a hit as well, which is good for the altcoin market, okay? So the price of Bitcoin went down, but also dominance went down as well. So we've seen this. So if we see this continue to come down, then we will see altcoin move up against a Bitcoin, and we'll see appreciation. If we actually look at altcoins compared to the Bitcoin pricing, so these bubbles are not altcoins against US dollars. So as you can see, these are all up against Bitcoin today. On the hour, it's a little bit mixed. On the week, they are mostly up against Bitcoin. So this is a positive thing. There is a couple outliers there. But mostly we see in the top 100 coins here, we see they're mostly up against the Bitcoin pairing. Could we see a little bit of a run for the altcoins? We also just remember that generally speaking, after the halving, historically, it's about an average of about 120 days before we come out of that correction. We're just over 100 days. Another 20 days from here would take us through mid to late July. Certainly the biggest correction of the last cycle also ended in late June. If you look at the charts, and we're not going to today, we have looked at that on previous shows, the Bitcoin charts in June 2020, the end of June 2020 is when we saw a move out of the biggest correction that Bitcoin had of that entire cycle. So we're certainly getting near the end of June. Isn't it so coincidental that the options expiry is also at the end of June? Okay, so very, very interesting. Also, the RSI on the daily on Bitcoin is quite low. Okay, so if we look at the Bitcoin chart, on the daily time frame here, we can see that the RSI is down low here, below 30. It might just have popped up, and historically that has always been a good time to buy Bitcoin. If we go along and see the last time it was down there, we see it was August 2023, and the price of Bitcoin when we were down there the last time was significantly low, around the mid-20s, and we did see a little bit more downside, and then Bitcoin did take off. And if we even go back a little bit further here in the charts, we will see again when there was opportunities to buy here, and Bitcoin was down around the low 19,000, and again down over here, and Bitcoin was even lower at that time. In the RSI, we were pretty low. That might have coincided pretty close to the Bitcoin bear market low. So you can see that the 30 RSI has been a very, very strong point of support. If you look at Tech Dev here, he's posted a good chart on it here where, so let's look at Tech Dev. He's posted a very good chart. So you can see actually it's been good, not just good buying opportunities when it's gone low. You can see the green dots, appreciation, but also good selling opportunities when it gets up high as well. So that's been a great chart there. So certainly the 30 RSI historically has been a good place to accumulate some Bitcoin and some altcoins as well. So Bitcoin also, there's a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders on the daily time frame, but you can certainly see that we have a shoulder, a head, and then this could be invalidated if we drop down a little bit more, but we could have another shoulder forming there for a head and shoulders. And obviously if we break through and confirm that, the technical target to the upside there is $89,000. So that would be awesome if we saw that play out. And again, you can see that the RSI on the daily is into the oversold region. So that certainly is a good time, in my opinion, to accumulate some Bitcoin there, okay? We also have the monthly 5 EMA, which is not set up on this chart just for the sake of time, and that's generally been a good bull market indicator. Currently, we're above it. It's sitting at around 60,350 right now, and the price of Bitcoin is above it. We did wick down below it, but if you look historically, that again has always been a good time to accumulate Bitcoin, and again has always marked local bottoms or close to local bottoms as we do here. So is the bottom in with Bitcoin? I think it either is or we are very close. Certainly we could come down to the 56, 55 region again. I would be very surprised if we went below that. You've got to look at the minor capitulations. That has just been such a solid signal here where the miners have capitulated. And look, the miners capitulating, historically, there is something called a Bitcoin production cost. And the Bitcoin production cost essentially is what is the lowest cost from electricity point of view that it takes to produce one Bitcoin. And right now, this is sitting at about 59,850. Okay. And so this is why we have the miners capitulating, is when they are needing to sell because they have to maintain their costs to stay in business. And this is why it has always been a pretty good time. Again, this Bitcoin production cost metric has always marked a local low or pretty close. In fact, it usually doesn't go below it. It wicked below it again yesterday because it was at 59,850 and we went below that. And it wicked below on the FTX collapse. But generally speaking, those have also marked local bottoms, okay? So very, very interesting. And if we look at our cheat code, if you've watched Life Changing Gains episodes 4, I have my cheat codes. And what are some of my cheat codes? Some of my cheat codes are the fear and greed index. We need to be in fear for a local bottom? Okay, so are we in fear? Let's have a look. We are in fear. So that is a local bottom signal. We also look at the funding rate. The funding rate is also gone negative for Bitcoin. We won't jump into that just for the sake of time. Open interest. Open interest. Let's have a look at the open interest level. What happened? Oh, look at this. So when we were down, the price was down. Again, a good time to accumulate. Again, another local bottom indicator along with that. So we definitely have seen some very, very good indicators. The altcoin season indicator. But as you can see here, for me, this is a time to accumulate altcoins because once we've got up here, altcoins have already outperformed Bitcoin. So the time to be in it is before they outperform Bitcoin, which is here. And then the time to sell them, as you can see, it doesn't stay up there for very long. Boom, it comes down because people are like, now it's time to take profits. And the way the altcoin index works is if 75% of the top 50 coins have already performed better than Bitcoin over the last 90 days. So it's a lagging indicator. So this is already too late to get into altcoins here. Problem is, this is when retail enters, and this is where you use retail as your exit liquidity. Remember, you sell into strength and you buy the weakness, you buy the fear, you buy the blood. Okay, so very, very interesting. Also, I think it's interesting that Mt. Gox, whenever there's been a Mt. Gox come out, Mt. Gox FUD has always been a little bit of a local bottom. So let's have a look at Mt. Gox. So we can see here the last 3 times Mt. Gox repayment FUD was dropped, and we'll just bring this down a little bit so we can see over here, and look what happened. Bitcoin went up and we never went below this. Over here, again, Bitcoin went up and we never came back and went below this level or revisited this level. And then the last time was here and we went up and we have so far not come back. And now we've got our latest one here. So historically, this would be a local bottom for Bitcoin, or close to a local bottom. Of course, we could still have a bit of a drop, a flash, a wick, but I feel fairly confident that we are at a local bottom or close to a local bottom here. Okay, so that's very, very interesting. And so let's just pivot to altcoins right now. So altcoins, one of the charts that I like using, I'm not going to bring it up for the sake of time because I have showed it on a previous show. So please see some of the updates. But this is a good tweet that came out. If you're one of those that missed the bull market on altcoins, you now have an opportunity to get at the same price as last October. What are you going to do? This is the others chart. What is the others chart? Okay, the others chart is all the altcoins minus the top 10. So the cumulative value of all the altcoins minus the top 10 are back at October levels. And this is why I have my crypto cheat sheet. Now, I have linked it in the description. So many of you are asking, can we have it linked in the description? It is there so you can access it. I will link it in every single one of my videos. So at any time, you can click on it and see the different buy levels that I have for 23 altcoins in there, and also the entries and the sell levels there also as well. So I do think this is a good opportunity. Of course, there are some altcoins that are in the others that are not back at those levels, but the majority of them, and on average, are going to be back at those levels or close to those levels, and could be some good buy opportunities there. Check out my crypto cheat sheet below for all the entries on all the coins there, and certainly see my life-changing gains series, episode 1, 2, and 3, where I teach you the 5-point method on how to dollar cost average in using 5 separate buys, or 3 to 5 buys, depending on where we are in the cycle and where that coin is on a chart perspective. And so you can actually get in. So I have my trade strategy, my hodl strategy, and my accumulate strategy there as well. Okay. So certainly some of you in the Discord have said that you've watched those videos and you're now doing what I have taught in those. So if you are accumulating those coins, that's how it goes. I'll sell some, and then when it pulls back, I'll collect some more and then keep selling, buying on the pullback, selling on the pumps, and accumulating all the way up to the end of the bull market. So my crypto cheat sheet is below in the description. Please check that out. I will be doing a cheat sheet update video very soon. It'll be a separate video for those people who may have missed out on my previous videos. This will be an updated version of that. I've updated all the entries that have now been hit. And so we can take a look at that together and take a look at some of the coins in there. And certainly there'll be some other great buying opportunities for you if we do go a little bit lower. All right, well, great to have you with us here again today. Thank you for joining me for this market update. And until the next video, happy trading.